the kind of team selection dilemmas that they have, which we are going to. I have to pick my top four. That's one of the reasons I'll probably not rate them in top four. Will they take the gamble of playing Nathan Smith so that they can play a Sodhi?
Maybe they make a decision between Bracewell and Chapman. Is Sodhi in this side? The reasons behind that, is it surprising to you? Moving into the next team of the ICC Champions Trophy 2025, and we always say this team as one of the underdogs moving into an ICC tournament. We don't know from where, but they always try and make it to the knockouts, and they do in most of occasions. I have the moving into the next team of the ICC with me. The welcome to the show. We're discussing about the BlackCaps. I must say, the well-behaved side who always just does their business, nothing else, and always somehow makes it to the semis, potentially finals, and at final they always crumble or something or the other happens. You have Kumar Dharmasena there taking selfies with the captain, etc., etc. But yes, you have New Zealand out here once again ready for an ICC Champions Trophy. But when it comes, we'll discuss about their traveling. But they are, I think, one of the teams that gets impacted the most because they play at Pakistan and also at Dubai, but three different venues. And that's where I'm saying that they get impacted the most. But overall, your thoughts when it comes to the squad of New Zealand, please?
I think if you look at in terms of their preparation, I think under the new captain, Mitch Santner, they have taken a more aggressive approach as compared to the conservative style of playing ODI cricket under the Kane Williamson's leadership.
Correct.
So I think that's one of the change that probably we'll see, which will also result into change in body language. So I'm really looking forward to
100%.
this new approach of Mitch Santner and the kind of team selection dilemmas that they have, which we are going to discuss now. But I think I'm really
100%.
looking forward to Mitch Santner, the captain, and how he leads the team.
100%. Yes, he has led the team really well in the recently concluded series versus Sri Lanka. But yes, you're talking about Mitch Santner, how he leads, because we have been so used to seeing Kane Williamson coming out of our toss and the way Kane Williamson leads this side. But it's a very different kind of a side, different kind of a squad. But very surprised to see one name not part of this squad. And when you always say about going in an ICC event, and I've heard many people say it's a must to have a wrist spinner, it's a must to have a leg spinner if you have. No Ish Sodhi in this side. The reasons behind that, is it surprising to you?
I think this is the new approach that they have taken, that they don't want a spinner who will give them wickets, because now you have someone like Glenn Phillips who can do that job for you. So they probably want to go with that same approach of having a long tail batting, having someone like a Rauki at number 9, which kind of gives them that extra edge. But then if you look at their part-time options, they are not like proper part-time. They can even give you have 7 to 8 overs of spin on their given day. So I think they
But will
have
they give
enough
you wickets?
resources. Exactly. And they can bat also. So
They
I
can
think that's
bat,
one of
but
the
my
reasons.
only concern is that will they give you guaranteed wickets, which you have a genuine wicket taker in the name of Ish Sodhi? That's where I wanted to ask you. Is that something they have gone with a different approach? Understandable, but I think they may have missed out. I just hope they don't get backfired with that decision. But similarly, I think they will for sure miss somebody like a Trent Bolt with the new ball.
Yeah, I completely agree with you on Trent Bolt and the Bolt and Saudi partnership, which was really
100%,
crucial
yeah.
for them in the 2023 World Cup that took them to the semifinals, right? So I think this is the kind of partnership that they will miss this time because, okay, let's say you have a Matt Henry who is like to like for Trent Bolt. Oh, sorry, Tim Saudi, but you don't have a
Team
like to
Saudi,
like for
yeah.
Trent Bolt. You don't have any left arm pacer in your squad right
Correct.
now. Right. So it is something which is kind of missing piece in the New Zealand squad. They don't have a proper left arm pacer, which kind of, if I have to pick my top four, that's one of the reasons I'll probably not rate them in top four.
Okay. That's a very, very important thing. We'll come to this as the show progresses, but you've already given a heads up when it comes to New Zealand moving into the semi-finals. But yes, if you look into the squad in depth now, if you talk about the top order batters that have been picked, welcoming back Devon Conway into the side after an injury. He's playing currently for the Joburg Super Kings, who have made it to the semi-finals. He will be part of that as well. You also have Will Young, who played so well in the series versus India. He's a very good player of spin. Conway, 1,246 runs with a strike rate of 89, but always consistent when it comes to average, 44 average. Do you think this is a very good, strong part of New Zealand if you look into the top order, including someone like Kane Williamson, whose numbers are just madness, to be honest, in any format of the game?
Yes, I think this is where the selection dilemma lies. Can you play all four of them? Definitely not.
No, you cannot.
You have to pick 3 out of these 4. And if you look at Rachin Ravindra, you have to play Rachin Ravindra because you don't have any other proper spinner, right?
Correct.
So okay, Ravindra is fixed. Now, between Will Young and Conway, one of them has to open, right? If you look at the numbers post 2023 World Cup, Will Young has been phenomenal, right? Just because
100%.
of Conway's injury, if you look at Will Young's number, no matter where he has played, he has given them tremendous starts.
Exactly.
But
Yeah.
then, can you leave out a guy like Conway with the kind of experience that he brings to the squad? So I think this is the spot which will decide the fate of New Zealand. But I believe they'll go with Conway's experience because he was opening with Rachin Ravindra in the 2023 World Cup also. So
Yeah.
they'll probably not tinker with that opening combination.
So you're saying that the Black Caps will not go in that so-called funda of right-hand, left-hand combination at the top of the order. Similarly, you're dropping William from the 11 just because of Devon Conway?
Yes, yes. Unfortunately, they'll have to.
Okay, I'll come to that because I may disagree with this one. I'll come to that as it progresses. Number 3, without a doubt, Kane Williamson. He's definitely there. He owns the spot, to be honest, for the Kiwis. But then number 4 or number 5, we move on to the batting all-rounders or the middle order, to be honest. Darren Mitchell is there, 1,617
Yes.
runs with his average of 50. He is there. He did not play in 2024, but you also have Tom Latham, his experience with 4,100 runs in one day internationals. He is there as well. And then you have a little bit of Mark Chapman as well, a little bit of round the order if you need firepower. He's there. So if I keep it down to these 3 people, you have Darren Mitchell, you have Tom Latham. You said Will Young will not play in your list, and you said Rachin Ravindra will open. Maybe consider Will Young batting at the top of the order, or maybe Rachin Ravindra at 4 or 5, and just make a choice between Mitchell or Tom Latham, maybe.
See, if the choice was up to me, I would have done that. But looking at what New Zealand has been doing since last 2 to 3 years, they've changed all the openers, but Rachin Ravindra has remained a constant. They haven't changed Rachin Ravindra's position. So I think
Yeah, agreed. But do you really think that what Rachin Ravindra or Will Young or Devon Conway brings to the table is it the same what Darren Mitchell and Tom Latham, especially at number 5 or probably 6, will bring it to the same?
yeah, again, it's the New Zealand mentality. So why why change something which is not broken, right?
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
so if you look at their constants, Rachin Ravindra has been their constant opener. They haven't made any changes in their 4, 5, 6. Daryl, last 3 to 3.5 years, it's been Daryl Mitchell, Tom Latham, and Glenn Phillips. So I don't think they'll make any change now also. When Williamson was not available, what they did was Mark Chapman earlier, who used to play at
Yeah.
number 7, started playing at
3.
number 3. Now,
Correct.
one option is if you still want and want to include Will Young, you can still go with Will Young, then Rachin Ravindra, and then Conway at 3 so that you have that experience. You leave out Williamson then. And then you can have the same order. Or you
Everyone goes
keep,
one down. Yeah.
yes, exactly. Or you keep everything as it is. Chapman becomes your number 7, like they were doing in a T20, the 2023 World Cup. If they have a really good start, they promote Chapman. Otherwise, Williamson comes.
So he becomes a floater, to be honest, as per you, when it comes to Mark
Exactly.
Chapman in your 11. But yes, as you said, if you would have been making the decisions, you would have maybe gone for either of them. But New Zealand, in the recent past, we've seen they've kept things very simple, kept things constant. While at the top of the order, all the tinkerings have happened. But then you have a new leader, as you rightly mentioned, Mitchell Santner, being a left-arm orthodox all-rounder, 1,392 runs. But then you have a right-arm player who, at one point, we deemed as him a very powerful all-rounder, Michael Bracewell, owned an IPL franchise as well, if I'm not mistaken, Royal Challengers Bengaluru as well. So your thoughts on these two bowling all-rounders, because they have a lot of responsibilities on their shoulders, because New Zealand now do not have a wicket-taker frontline spinner.
Exactly. But the only exactly problem here is that how will you fit Michael Bracewell in your top 7, right? So they don't have any spot for Bracewell in the top 7, right? If they
So,
want to
so
go
maybe
to,
they make a decision between Bracewell and Chapman.
no, Chapman has been their number 1 batter. If you look at his numbers post the last World Cup, so Chapman has scored highest number of runs, best average, best strike rate, and he has been the one around whom everyone has played. So you can't leave out Chapman. Chapman gives you a couple of overs.
Correct,
Same,
but
same as with
what are you
Bracewell.
thinking? So are you thinking in conditions of Pakistan and UAE as well?
Yes, exactly. So they are going with very conservative approach in Spain. They don't want someone who will give you 10 overs, 70 runs, and take 3 wickets. So they are okay with Glenn Phillips 5 overs, 40 runs, and probably one
Correct,
wicket or two
exactly.
wicket. Right. So what it allows them to do is it allows them to play an extra all-rounder and increase that batting depth. So which has been lacking in the last couple of semifinals that they have played. So let's see if it
Okay.
pays off well or not. But I think
Yeah.
otherwise, if you look at their batting lineup, right, it ends at Santner. They're 8, 9, the 9, 10, 11, they can't bat.
Exactly, 8, 9, 10, 11. It becomes a little bit of long tail, to be honest. But yes, I agree with you. When it comes to 2000, is where they won the ICC Champions Trophy against India. So they are already once victorious of this trophy, but they might want to make it twice in this year. To be honest. But yes, you said about them. Not to mention Glenn Phillips, he becomes a constant. He becomes an automatic choice in this 11, probably at number 6 for New Zealand. But then you come on to the bowlers. Lot of seamers have been picked. You have Nathan Smith, your Ben Sears, your William Oruke, and then you also have Lockie Ferguson, and then you have leading the pace attack, Matt Henry. 5 seamers have been picked. What's the reason behind that?
I think depending on the kind of conditions in which they are playing, I think they have picked a side, assuming that Pakistan will not give them spin-friendly pitches. So, so I think that's one of the reasons, which I think. And again, they still have time, and maybe they are playing a series against Pakistan and the tri series that they're going to
There's a
play in the
tri-series,
BlackCaps
yeah.
Trophy. So maybe they'll assess the conditions there, and if they want, they can add an additional spinner.
Absolutely, because 12th February is the deadline for you to make any changes for all the teams. After that, you have to take an permission from the ICC. So yes, the ICC a tri-series could be somewhere they can tinker around, and probably they might be like 5 seamers. We have to think twice and had maybe the name we have constantly mentioned. If Sodi could be part of the squad, that gives you a better balance into the side, to be honest. But that's all we have. That's the New Zealand squad, to be honest, overall. But when it comes to the fixtures, is what the more concerning if you look into for New Zealand. They play the opening game at Karachi, to be honest, the opening game of the Champions Trophy against the host Pakistan. Then they move into Rawalpindi to face Bangladesh, and they all the way go to UAE to face the mighty Indians at Dubai. 3 games, very difficult ones, but keeping aside Bangladesh, the other 2 are for sure difficult. What are your thoughts when it comes to New Zealand? Are they getting maybe 3-0 probably, or which game do you think? Obviously, we'll say India, but apart from that, Pakistan and Bangladesh, which is the one do you think there's going to be more pressure on them?
I think if they try to tinker their lineup too much, every game will become a challenge. So which means that they have to nail the first game to the perfection, and
Mhm.
and then they believe that this is their right 11, and they don't change their combination when they play against India. If they, I believe, if they don't get the result right in the first game, this is where things will become difficult for them. So I believe the first game is the most important one for them as compared to India.
First game, and they're playing the opening game, to be honest, in front of, hopefully, we often don't see a good amount of crowd in Pakistan, but hopefully it's the first game of the Champions Trophy. Maybe they will have a packed crowd, probably. So hopefully in front of a good Pakistan crowd at Karachi, they have to win it. Otherwise, in a few days, in probably 4 days, they're playing Bangladesh, and then after a week, they're playing India at Dubai. So it's tough conditions, different conditions for them. They have to make quick adaptation, but yes, challenging, to be honest. But then they have to make players to watch out for. I've gone with my 5 players, and without a doubt, Kane Williamson is my number 1. Devon Conway is the number 2. Mitchell Santner, Will Young, and Matt Henry are the remaining 3 players I've gone with. 5 players to watch out for, according to me. What's yours?
I'm going with Glenn Phillips. He needs to have a very balanced Champions Trophy for New Zealand to really click, because he brings the kind of balance that they are looking for.
In
If you
all the
look at
3
their,
departments?
in all the 3 departments, yes, he needs to have a really, really good Champions Trophy. Same is the case with Rachin Ravindra. So that's why I would put them in my top 2. And then Matt Henry is going to be my number 3 player. The reason being that so if you want someone to take wickets up front, that's going to be Matt Henry. So
100%, yeah.
and then in the batting department, I think Daryl Mitchell's role in the middle order will become very crucial.
Okay. Is it because he plays spin so well?
Exactly. And then he's going to play like a sandwich role between Williamson and Latham, and we don't know about their forms yet. So I think that's why Daryl Mitchell's role
That's
becomes
your
really
4th.
important.
Who is your 5th?
Yes. And my 5th is probably the underdog, Will Uruki. So the reason
Okay.
being that, okay, he did really well against Pakistan in those conditions when New Zealand visited Pakistan. Same is the case against India. So I'm expecting him to be one of the trump cards in these 2 games.
One of the trump cards in these 2 games is William Oruke, according to Deep. Very, very, very bold predictions, to be honest. You've gone with your 5, understandable with the other 4, to be honest. Moving on to the predicted playing 11, I'll give my first, then I'll move on to yours. There might be a little bit of debates out here, to be honest. My predicted playing 11 for New Zealand is, my openers are Devon Conway and Will Young are my openers. Kane Williamson at number 3, Rachin Ravindra at 4, Darren Mitchell at 5, Glenn Phillips at 6, Michael Bracewell, Mitchell Santner, the two bowling all-rounders at number 7 and 8. And then I move on to the three seamers. Matt Henry, Lockie Ferguson, and William Oruke are my three seamers. Expecting a different looking side from your end. First, give me your 11, then we'll come to a discussion.
I think I completely agree with you, right? If I would have made this 11 without thinking what is the kind of 11 New Zealand will play, I would have picked a very similar 11 with only one change, Chapman coming in for Braswell.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if I have to pick 11, which probably New Zealand is going to pick, so Conway and Rachin Ravindra as openers. My 3, 4,
Okay.
5, Kane Williamson, Daryl Mitchell, and Tom Latham. And my 6, 7, Glenn Phillips and Mark Chapman. My 8, 9, 10, 11, Mitch Santner, Willem Oruki, Matt Henry, and Lockie Ferguson.
Okay, so the seamers remain the same. It's just that it's Chapman, and for me, no Latham, and you have a Latham and no Williams. So this is a more of a less is whether it's our gut 11 or it's New Zealand's 11, to be honest.
Yes.
But do you think it's going to make any difference if you shift from Pakistan to UAE?
No, depending on the results, it will change a lot. But just if I look at the conditions, I think they would rather want to have an additional spinner in UAE, which I don't think they can have now. And again, the reason being that they don't have a proper pace all-rounder. If you look at
Correct.
all their all-rounders, they are spin all-rounders in their top 7.
Correct.
So, which forces them to play a Nathan Smith and 2 pacers plus Santner, and if they have a Sodhi, they can play Sodhi, which they don't have right now. So the question is, will they take the gamble of playing Nathan Smith so that they can play a Sodhi, or will they go with their regular 3 proper frontline pacers and part-time spin?
Okay, but it just in case if in the tri-series they figure out if they need the frontline spinner in the name of Ish Sodhi or anybody else, who do you think makes way? Is it Ben Sears or is it Nathan Smith?
I think they'll have to drop Nathan Smith, right?
Okay, and the reasons behind?
The reason is if you have to play 2 spinners, right, you still need 3 frontline pacers. So then assume Santner is your number 7, and then you have your 3 spinners plus Sodhi. So your tail starts from 8 onwards, but then you have proper 5 bowlers.
Yeah, that is a very good point. You have proper 5 bowlers who can pick wickets as well, if I'm being honest.
Exactly.
So yes. So this is where we come to the conclusion when it comes to the predicted playing 11. Moving into the final segment, which is the prediction time, which is always very exciting according to me. Group A is where New Zealand are, and the 3 teams are Pakistan, Bangladesh, and India. So according to you, I would give it to you. Who are the 2 teams you think from Group A are going to make it to the semis?
India, Pakistan.
India, Pakistan, straight away answer. No, New Zealand. He said at the beginning of the show, I don't think so. This team makes it in the top 4, but I said it. This team always finds a way and makes it to the semi-finals. So he says India, Pakistan are the 2 teams that makes it from Group A into the semi-finals. Thank you so much, Deep. Thank you to all the viewers for watching this video. It's New Zealand squad analysis is done and dusted for the ICC Champions Trophy 2025. Don't forget to subscribe to the Fifth Number. Press the bell icon as well. Thank you so much, and bye-bye.
Yeah. Thank you for having me.